Hey viewers, thanks for joining me today. We've got a fresh one here. It's a 21 Dodge Ram 1500. Got the big Hemi 5.7 in it. And the surprising part is it has less than 9,500 miles on it. And it already has a problem. So, a customer had called me about a week ago and wanted to set up an appointment. And at that time, he said he was going to do a little snooping in the meantime and see if he could find a fuse or something that might be blown or whatever. And I kind of advised him that more than likely it's probably a circuit breaker rather than a fuse, so just to kind of give him a heads up. But anyways, did a little digging around, and let me get you over there where you can see it. So, as I all know, that the fuse block is under the hood. Zoom in here in a little bit. Ooh, gotta go down. There we go. Kick on a little light there. But anyways, what you end up finding is this guy right here. I don't know if I could zoom in on it. Come on now. Let's see if it zoomed. Come on. Can you zoom? Hold on. What's up with this? Maybe I just zoomed in too much and it won't want to focus. But here's the circuit breaker. She's a 25 amp. And he said that when he went to pull the thing out of there with his fingers, he kind of burnt himself. I don't know if you can see it. Look at the heat marks on this thing. So imagine this puppy was smoking hot. And that was just, within that day that he noticed he had the problem. So obviously we had a dead short. So the thing I like to do when you look for a dead short, rather than just putting fuses or more breakers in there or whatever, is I always like to put a test light in line with it. Basically is, if it's got a short to ground, of course you jumper across, it's going to light up my test light. Alright, we can see that there? Yeah. So while I'm doing that, then I'll go underneath the seat area and kind of do a little investigation, wiggling around. But I already found the problem. It was pretty simple and quick. Now let me move you over there where the seat is and I'll show you what we got. Okay, so we're at the driver's seat, and obviously, this is the switch. Doesn't do anything, as well as the lumbar. But looking down underneath there, I didn't see any chafed wire or anything. Nothing seems to be out of place. But the one thing I did take note of is that when I end up pulling away from the side panel here, I get the light to flicker on and off. Now let me get you focused in on that light while I do that, and you'll see what happens at that point. Okay, so watch that light. All I'm going to do is just pry out from the bottom side of the switch panel here. See that flicker? There you go. So it's got a dead short underneath right by that switch is somewhere there, and it's going to be really interesting to see what it looks like when I pull this panel out, because obviously it's hitting the metal. But that's what it'll do. When you don't have a dead short, that light will go out like that. Well, kind of, there you go. But when you got a dead short, it'll light back up. So that's just a good testing procedure to do. Makes things really easy and quick. So I'm going to pause it here. I'm going to get some tools and see about tearing the switch out and see what we find. Okay, peoples. So this panel pops off quite easily, actually. It's all retained here by the little slide clip, so I was able to take a little panel popper and just go around the edges and it'll pop out. Now I thought I screwed the pooch here. Once I got that panel out of there, my test light went off and I couldn't get it to, show where exactly the problem is. In fact, I ended up taking the lumbar guy off of there, off the panel, kind of tucked it behind this panel and reinserted the panel in hopes that I'd try and get it to recreate the problem. Couldn't. I was starting to get a little frustrated. Well, it's obvious that it has to be something pretty easy to, you know, that's causing the issue. And the way the wiring is all tucked around in there and taped up, it didn't look like anything real acceptable. There was one spot that's underneath there that's up against a metal bracket, but it still has a, it's got this sheath over the top of it, and that's some pretty decent abrasive type stuff. And the wire harness itself felt pretty tight. So a little more closer visual inspection, and I found it. Now, let me zoom you in here a little bit. Let's see if I can get you in there tight enough to see it. Alright, so had to unplug the panel, was able to pull it out far enough, and when I rolled it over, there it is. I don't know if you can see it. Oh, I need to turn the camera more here. Boy, oh boy. Let's see if I can get this guy to go down a little bit more. Maybe I should lower the... There we go. That's better. Yeah. You can see it. There you go. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit tighter with it here. See. Come on, camera. Catch up with me. Is it too much for you? No. No. Oh. Well, I'm going to have to zoom out just a little bit. Come on now. There it is. Look at that. She was rubbing up against the metal in there. So, and from what I understood, my customer was doing a little digging around. Supposedly, this is a common issue, common problem. He didn't see where anybody had figured out the fix, other than they found that the seats would stop working and that circuit breaker would get real hot. So there would be the issue. We'll have to fix the problem and see if we can do something to kind of eliminate it from happening again. It obviously somehow, because the way this panel sits inside there, this wiring kind of gets shoved in clear back into this direction here, so it's rubbing up in here somewhere. I'm just going to have to do a little digging and see if I can figure out where exactly it is. Okay, a little bit of bonus footage here. Show the repair I did to it. So on the red wire that actually got chafed through, I went ahead and did liquid tape on it just to seal it off, and then I wrapped the entire harness in a electrical tape, and then I used the classic 5/16 hose, abrasion, super abrasion resistant covering, and then I end up wrapping that again with the Tesla tape, which is actually it's a 3M brand. I've had this for quite a while, but it's really durable. Works out pretty good. But anyways, I think that's going to cure our problem. There's not much you can do about the metal bracket back in there. I mean, that's just a design flaw. The only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure when I tuck that in that the wire harness is kind of down a little lower, because most of the metal bracketry is towards the top, and see if that would kind of help eliminate that from problem happening again. But anyways, I wanted to show the repair, what I ended up having to do with it, and I think that's about all that can be done. So, alright, so I'm not like going to pound you with a bunch of extra bonus footages, but I wanted to at least show this. So you can see right there in the middle of the screen, that's actually the wire harness. And once I got the switch panel put into place, it just kind of naturally wants to lay over in that direction. There's not much you can do about that. It sits up right against the metal. You can see up inside there. And it also sits up against this lower track metal as well too. So there's really, there's no way to really avoid it. It's just purely a design flaw that needs to be rethought, because you can see how sharp that edge of that metal would be there. And if that wire harness is in there, and then you got someone that, just naturally from getting in and out of the vehicle, it presses up against the switch panel, it kind of forces that plastic to where it's rubbing up against that metal there. But anyways, I think that the fix by making that super thick right there is going to help, at least keep that from happening again. So, but anyways, I just wanted to show that little bit. It's kind of a weird capture to try and do, and feel like I'm inverted and switched around. Camera flipped at me, towards me. So, anyways, that's all that can be done. So, thanks again. I know I said I wasn't going to do a bunch of bonus footages, but I'll add this one in as well. So this truck so happened to have the passenger seat is actually a manual seat, and if it had the option of a power seat, right here is the circuit breaker for the passenger side. So I think since it's not even being used, I think we're just going to borrow this guy and use it over here on the driver's side where it makes more sense. So anyways, thought I'd point that out. It's kind of convenient, the fact that they gave you a spare. Thanks a lot, Dodge. You finally did something correct. Everyone have a good day.